Good morning, everybody. Getting myself set up here this morning. We finished the handle yesterday, the outer handle of the market bag here. There's the back, there's the front. And now, today, what we're going to do is we're going to work on this inside part of the market bag. So, we're going to come back and right here along the center, we're going to add our purple, and basically we're going to work these colors in the opposite direction. So I'm going to work a purple stitch here and then the rest of the colors. Hey Mama C, good morning. So if we visualize it here with my little sample I made, basically what we're going to do is this, like this. So good morning, everybody. What are we on? Are we on Wednesday today? The week is flying by, I think. I'm going to start right here in the very center with my purple yarn. And the purple yarn I'm using today is Big Twist Value. Hey, Queen 530, good morning. And this is the colorway Lilac. Now, the pink that's in this market bag, this pretty pink, this is Red Heart Super Saver, and that is the color Pretty in Pink. And then the aqua blue is also Red Heart Super Saver, and that's the colorway Turqua. And then we have Red Heart Super Saver White. So just a little market bag we're working on. We've been working on this a few days now. Today will be the last day, and we're just going to finish our handle. And then, of course, I'll have to come back with a liner. So the way that I'm going to do this, you can see this is the opening of the market bag. Okay, look at all my strings in there. I've got to weave in still, but there's the center. And so when you look at this, you can see it dips down here in the middle. And so what I've got to do in this very center part here is we need to do like a 3 together double crochet and squish that in, kind of do a decrease. That'll help keep this point together. And I want to do that stitch when I come back around. So I'm going to actually start up here. I'm not going to go in this stitch. I'm not going to go in this stitch or this one in the middle. I'm going to start in this one right here, a little bit off to the side. So the very first, not the corner, but right here. And I'm going to put our single crochet. And I'm just going to do a row of single crochets all the way around. But what that will do is that'll allow me, when we come back around, I'll be able to do the decrease right here and then tie back into this and then start our next color. So after we get done with the purple, then we would do the pink. Good morning, Kimberly. Thank you so much for the gifts this morning. Those crystal hearts are kind of cute, huh? The crystal rose, I mean. I really like those. It must be a new little gift thing on. I haven't seen those before. I think it might be like a new uh, whatever they call it over here on TikTok. Part of the new gift gallery or something. Okay, so now I'm going to continue working up this side here. Is the lighting okay? My light seems a little weird this morning. Let me try to move it a little bit. Is that any better? That's a little bit better. Hey, Shauna, good morning. Maha, thank you so much for the roses this morning. Donna, how are you this morning? I'll tell you what, guys, we have had rain all day yesterday, rain all day today, and it is wet and soggy out there. But I'm not complaining. At least it's not snow. I know a lot of you guys have gotten snow. I saw some of the comments yesterday. There was people were saying snow in Virginia. So here again, you can kind of see we're coming up on this corner right here. And I want to try to get this so that it's a little more, um, again, I don't want this too bulky in the corner. So if we look at our other example that we have here, here basically is the same corner, right? So we started right here in the middle where this aqua blue is, or teal, or whatever you want to call it, and then work our way up. This is essentially where our purple is. So can you see how there's this stitch here where basically I did a 2 together right here. So I went into this one And then I went over into this one. It might be a three together even. We're going to try and see. And that way it kind of made this corner say nice and straight. But you can see here the three together and then the two together. So that works really well when you get to this corner space. So basically, as we're working here, I'm going to go into this space and pull up a loop. Then I'm going to go right here in the middle of those and pull up a loop. And I'm not finishing those. And then I'm going to come right over here to the first stitch, if I can find it here. It's in the back bump. And I'm again going to pull up a loop. Now I'm going to yarn over and pull under all of those. So basically that allows those to squish together. And now I'm ready to start up the handle here to the, as we go, we're going to work our way around this. Thank you so much for the gifts this morning. Gen X Girl, thank you. Good morning. You guys are rocking it this morning. How about some TikToks? I'll do 50. Um, so thank you guys so much for the gifts this morning. So now I'm ready to I can kind of turn this bag a little bit. So when we did this before, you guys remember yesterday, we did a chain all the way up. And then I came back with a single crochet and we did a single crochet into the two loops. That left behind the back bump, which you can see right here is the little back bump. So now what I have to do is I have to work a single crochet into each and every one of these back bumps, and they are a little more challenging to get your hook into. So this is where I was saying yesterday, make sure when you do your chain that you get enough wiggle room in there. Make sure it's you want it nice and snug, but not too sloppy. There's kind of a happy medium. If you get it too tight, then you can see how I'm trying to slide these hook loops over my hook so I can do the single crochet. Those will become too tight and you'll have a really hard time getting your hook under those back bumps. So just be cautious of that as you're doing. You can kind of see how it comes into play here. I can't even slide my hook under these without my using my thumb. So it is kind of time consuming as we do this. Now, when we come back with the pink, that's going to be a lot easier. But for now, I'm just going to continue working this purple under these back bumps all the way around. So it is very time consuming. But the finished look of these handles is really nice. Obviously, there's lots of different types of handles you can do for your market bag. This is one of my favorites, and so I just have to be patient and work these stitches up. Good morning, and thank you for the follow this morning. Welcome, welcome. For those that don't know, my name is April, and I come on live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday mornings at 7 Central Time. I live in Northeast Alabama, and I'm just a hobby crocheter. I've been crocheting for about 40 years, but I come on here with my friends and just do some crocheting and chatting. And anyhow, it's just a nice little relaxing morning as we have our coffee and talk about life and crochet. So, welcome. I'm glad that you have found me. Now, I do work full time, so I typically stay on from 7 a.m. Central Time to 8:30, at which time I hop off and I got to go feed the dogs and, maybe refill the coffee depending on the mood and fill the bird feeders up. So, it's kind of my little morning routine. And this week I'm going to come on Friday. I've decided, but probably only on TikTok. Tomorrow we're going to be working on a Valentine scarf. And I suspect it's going to be so much fun that I'm going to want to do a day two of it. I normally don't come on Fridays. So you all are going to get a bonus day. I figured it's Valentine's Day. And why not work on my little Valentine scarf? Now, I've never made a scarf before in my life, believe it or not. You would think after 40 years that would be something that I probably would have made, but I haven't. Jeanette says, I'm late. That's all right, Jeanette. Glad you are here. Good morning. Good morning. So anyhow, I just thought, oh, that'll be a nice second day, you know. So the pattern that I'm going to do tomorrow is on by Hooked by Robin. You guys know I really love Robin. She's over on YouTube, and I already set up the link tree. So if you want to sneak ahead and see what it is I'm making tomorrow, you can check out her YouTube. But it is basically some puff stitches. To me, they look like little hearts, and I'm going to use a really fun Lion Brand Scarfy yarn. It's red and white. I think the colorway technically is red and cream. Hey, Amanda, good morning. Cindy, good morning over on YouTube. Welcome, welcome. We're back working on the market bag today, guys. If you're just joining on, we have been working on this little market bag. Let me pause here and I'll kind of show you where we're at. So this is kind of the sideways view of it. But you can see we made these granny squares on the live last Wednesday. Then on Thursday, we came back and we did these crochet joins. And then yesterday, we worked on the straps and we did the outer edge of the straps. So we did this part right here. And now what we're doing today is I'm coming back and I'm adding these inside straps to give this a nice finished edge and just make these straps a little wider. So that's what we are working on this morning. Hey, Aniki, good morning. Uh, Jay, good morning. Welcome, welcome. I hope everybody's having a fabulous week. I'll tell you what, I got kind of chilled yesterday. You guys know I have RA. And I'll tell you what, when I get cold like that, I was hurting yesterday, something fierce. And so, anyhow, I kicked up the heater and got it warm and toasty in here. And I'm feeling better this morning. But boy, yesterday was a rough one. Leslie said, "That's an interesting looking scarf on your link tree." I know, right? It's kind of different. That's why I thought it would be kind of fun with all the puff stitches. It's like she called it a mile a minute scarf. And then she said at the very end, if you watch the whole video, she was so cute. She said, "I this took me a lot more than a minute." Robin. Too funny. So it's definitely interesting. It's kind of a lacy looking scarf, but it definitely looks like little hearts. So anyhow, it's going to be something different and fun. And I thought it would be pretty with my red and white yarn, and it kind of looks like little hearts. So well, why not? I mean, I could totally hate it, but it could work. We're gonna find out. It's relatively easy to do after I watched it, and she crochet joins as she goes. So I've never made that pattern before, but I thought, well, I'll just come on with my friends. If I have to frog stuff or I've messed stuff up, you guys are so forgiving. You'll just play right along with me. So let's see. Gypsy says, I really should be making these with my scrap yarns. Yes, they are great scrap busters. Great, great scrap busters. Now, market bags typically I prefer to do cotton yarn, but I didn't have these fun unicorn colors in cotton. I had some of them, but not all of them. And so I was like, you know what? I'm just going to use acrylic that I have. Why not? Who cares? I'm going to line the whole thing anyhow. But typically, acrylic is a little more stretchy, right? Cotton doesn't have as much give to it. I really love to use the I Love This Cotton from Hobby Lobby. That's my favorite yarn for market bags. I think it's like the closest thing to like a 4-weight yarn. That's what this is. This whole market bag here is I love this yarn, or I love this cotton. And the cotton, it's just really nice and soft, and it kind of makes it flowy. So I really like it. And then this is how the handles turn out when we get done. That's what we're making today. Obviously, this is different colors, but it's going to be, I think, really pretty. So right now I'm working on the inner part of this. So I'm coming back and I'm crocheting here this inner part. And then once I get back down here, we're going to switch to the pink. So it just kind of takes some time. When we did this yesterday, we did a chain. We did a starting chain for this handle part, and then I came back and I did this single crochet here into that chain, and it left behind these little back bumps. So the part that I'm going into is this little loop right here. This is the back bump of that starting chain. You can kind of see them here if I pull them up. So they're a little bit harder to kind of work into, but basically once I get done, it kind of ends up looking like this. So I think it looks really nice. And then on my sample that I was testing out, I came back and added this little white, just did a slip stitch. There's what it looks like on the back. Just to give it a little added. I don't know if I'm going to do this on this bag. I have to, experiment and see. But because there are two rows here, basically this is, one row here and then one row here. So I felt like it kind of needed something to kind of divide that. But we'll see how it looks when I'm all done. It might not need it at all. So all I'm doing is I'm just putting my hook under these back bumps, and I have to use my thumbnail to slide the hook under there. And then I grab up a loop and then yarn over and pull through both. So I'm just doing a single crochet into each of these back bumps all the way along. And then when I get down towards the middle of the bag, we're just going to work in the top edge of that granny square. Anvil said it's a snowy day. Yeah, yeah. Her smorgasbord said so beautiful. Thank you, thank you. Um, Gypsy says I've only really done freehand bottle holders. Oh, bottle holders would be nice. I know those are handy to have. They're a great way to stash. What is it? Stash bust, I guess, is the term. Technical crochet speak, right? Yeah. So, do you guys have a lot of snow on the ground? I know there was a couple people that said they had snow in Virginia yesterday. Ryan Hall was saying uh, they were supposed to get snow in Kentucky. I haven't looked to see if they actually got some. But it's like I said, it rained all day yesterday. It's raining this morning here in Rainsville. The bird feeders are a mess. You would think my little town Rainsville was because named because of the rain, but it was actually the founder's name. The founder of the little town we're in, his name was Rainsville. So, but we do get a lot of rain here. A lot of rain. That's what that's what makes it nice and green though. In Arizona, we didn't have all that green. Queen says snow hit Kansas City last night. Shauna says we got like 3 inches in Pennsylvania. Queen said, perfect day for crochet. Yeah, those are the kind of days where you just want to like get your little blankie. Like I've got my blankie this morning, and this is an electric blankie that I have on my lap. It's just one of those throw blankets. But this is the only way I know how to crochet is in my chair with my blankie, and if it's cold I turn it on. If it's warm I don't turn it on, but even in the summer I crochet with my little blankie. I don't know, are you guys like that? Do you have a favorite blanket or something, or favorite way to crochet? Some people I see on lives and stuff, and they crochet like um sitting up rather than I'm kind of in a recliner, right? At a desk. And I don't know, that would really hurt my back. I don't think I would be comfortable crocheting like that, but I don't know. I guess maybe it's just in my mind. So I'm coming up here now on the corner again, okay? So if we go back and look at this corner that I did, when you are coming around like this, you can see here that we're going to have a 3 together double crochet right here. Then in this corner, these straps, they kind of go at an angle, right? They're following this granny square. And you don't want to get this corner too bulky. So what I did here is I did 1, 2, 3 together single crochets. So I'm going to mirror that. Cindy said, yes, April, we have a snow day in Virginia, a small bit of lingering freezing rain this morning. Brr, 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 brr. Uh, Donna said, here in Newfoundland, we had 41 centimeters of snow on Sunday and calling for another 20 to 25 over the weekend. Wow. Wow. That's a lot, isn't it? That's a lot of snow. Andrea said, I always crochet with a blankie until the blanket I'm crocheting is big enough to cover me. Yeah, I do that too. Okay, so if we look at this, basically, I'm going to go right here. This is a back bump. Then I'm going to go in between this right here, kind of where we ended, and then I'm going to go into this corner, and I'm going to do a 3 together single crochet. Again, there's kind of no like set way to do this, but this is what I do. So I pull up a loop and I don't finish it. Then I go into this first one that I did and pull up a loop. Again, don't finish it. And then I go here into the corner, pull up a loop. Now I yarn over and pull through all three of them together. So that in turn kind of forces this to be a little less bulky, as if I had done three individual stitches. It kind of squishes that up, and it makes it so that it's not as tight in there. Now, here we are back to the granny square, so part of it. So I'm just going to go again under both bars all the way along, and I just put a single crochet in the top of each one of these little stitches. So nothing fancy here, just go under both bars and do your single crochet. And I'm working my way kind of downwards. So this comes up like this. I know it's kind of hard to tell, but see how this comes down into a V? I've got it kind of a sideways V on my lap here. And so as I get towards this center point here, then I'm again going to do another decrease, and that will help us to keep that nice and not so bulky there in the middle. So a few more stitches here, single, single. Okay, now as you look at this, you can see we have the corner from this square here. We have the corner space from this one in the middle. And then here we have the corner space from another, the one here on the, I guess, left. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into this space and pull up a loop, and I'm not going to finish. So like I'm doing a single crochet. Then I'm going to go right here in the middle, again, pull up a loop, and again, do not finish that. And then I'm going to go here into the third one, again, pull up a loop. So now we have our starting loop, three additional, total of four. Then I'm going to yarn over and pull through all of those together. Then I'm going to come right here into the very first stitch that I did, and I'm going to join with a slip stitch, and I'm going to snip off. So we're going to look at this. So let me get this knot cinched up here. So basically, here in the center, I'll come back and weave in this tail. But when you do those three together here, like this, you can see that helps keep this nice and pointed and not so bulky. Same concept here on the edges as we went around. Again, not so bulky on the edges. And here's where our strap is looking like right now. So what we're going to do next is I'm going to come back now with the pink color. This pink color, for those that are curious, is Red Heart Super Saver, and this is the colorway Pretty in Pink. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie on again with a slip knot. The way I do my slip knot is I yarn over and I pull down a loop. I call it pulling it down. So therefore it's like a little crossed circle, and I hold that between my middle finger and my thumb. I put my hook back through that circle, grab up a loop, and pull that. Now I'm going to pull this hook straight up. And as I do that, I'm going to pull this tail down and secure that. And then I just tighten it. That's how I do my little slip knots. So now again, keep in mind, as we come back around into this little V here, I'm going to want to do another decrease. So same thing, I'm going to move up. I'm going to start like right over here. I'm going to leave this spot kind of cleared for me to come back around and enter that there to do my little decrease there. Okay, so really you could start kind of anywhere, but I'm just going to start like right in here. And I'm just going to do a single crochet. Now all I'm going to do is single crochets. I'm going under both bars, and I'm going all the way around. Now here's the thing, guys, you don't have to keep adding more stitches here if you don't want, right? You're the artist. You could totally leave it just like this. It's secure enough. Your strap is big enough. Um, but I like to add a few more rows here, so that way it makes my strap look balanced, right? So you can see here, I started with the teal blue and then I worked my way out so that it matched the market bag, right? Incorporated all the colors in. I'm going to apply that same concept to this. Anvil says, I love that. Crow days. That's a good little way to call it. Kelly says 2 inches in Denver right now. Let's see. Gen X girl said, "I'm sitting at my desk working on a project before work." Yeah, I don't. I admire all you guys that can do that. I got to be in my recliner. We all have our favorite way or spot to crochet. Good morning. Thank you for the follow this morning. Welcome, 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 welcome to our little crochet world here. Um, for those that don't know, my name is April, and I'm a hobby crocheter. I come on live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday mornings, and I just chat with my friends here, and we talk about crochet, and I try to explain the stitches and stuff as I go along. So we've been doing a single crochet here. And now I'm kind of to where this strap is attaching to the bag here. So again, you can see this is kind of a little V here. So what I have to decide at this point is, do I want to do a 3 together single crochet or like a 2 together? In all honesty, I don't really know. Let's try a 2 together and see how that feels. Okay. So you can see here, I could do 2 different stitches, right? You have a stitch here and you have a stitch here. So I could do just a single crochet into each one and carry on. Okay. So let me show you how this looks, and you can kind of then start to understand why it is I'm doing what I'm doing. This becomes a little bulky here when you just go into each of those stitches, and it kind of adds a lot of extra like yarn here in the corner. So what I like to do is, instead of doing one in each stitch, I like to do either a 2 together or a 3 together or single crochet. We did a 3 together here. Basically, I'm going to go into this first stitch and bring up a loop. Now I'm not going to finish that stitch. I'm going to go into the second stitch here under both bars, grab up a loop, and then I'm going to, I have my starting loop, 2 extras, yarn over and pull through all 3. Then I will continue on doing my single crochets all the way up. So now when we look at this, it helps to keep this kind of more nice and um, not so bulky in there. The other thing is, sometimes I will do a 3 together. It just kind of depends on how the strap is laying. So if we did a 3 together, basically, instead of doing the single crochet here, I would go under both bars, grab up a loop, then go into stitch number 2 here, grab up a loop, and then into stitch number 3 and grab up a loop. And then I would yarn over and pull through all 4 loops, and then continue on with my single crochets. So this is where you guys kind of have to make some, decisions and test it out and kind of see what works best for the project that you're doing. You want, the goal here is to try to keep this perfectly straight without having this added bulk right here. I did do 3 here of the row below. What do you guys think? Do you think it looked better with 2 together or 3 together? Anybody have an opinion on this? Let's see. Sorry, let me catch up on the comments, guys. Let me know what you think about this, what you prefer. Frankie said, I love it. Thank you, Frankie. Elsie said, I'm so ready for spring. 3 inches of snow, then rain. Oh, bummer, bummer. Let's see. Anvil said, the rain will wash the snow away. Elsie said, Friday is going to be a mess for the Eagles parade. Yeah, I bet it's going to be a lot of weather up there. Deborah says, I like the 3 together. Pam said my subscription fell off. Yeah, a lot of people are having a hard time with the subscription. And Anvil just pinned a message that says you have to go on the computer to resubscribe. And somebody was mentioning too that it's during the time I'm live, you have to go on your computer. So I don't know, you guys. If you can't subscribe, don't feel bad. It's not a thing for me. You guys know I do this because of the community. Obviously, I know you guys like to support, and I certainly appreciate that. I'm not trying to say less than that. But right now, with it being so difficult on TikTok, definitely don't put the pressure on yourself to try to figure that out if you don't want to. Lucky Mike says 3. Susan says 2. Mandy says 2 together. Yvonne says 3. Susan says 2. Hey, Maggie, good morning. Maggie Unicorn's in the house, guys. Maggie goes live all the time, guys. If you're not following Maggie, pin Maggie in the comments there. She's a great person to follow here on TikTok. Pam says 3. Susan says 2. Jeanette says 3. It's kind of a split of who likes what. So I'll tell you what, I'll do 2. Okay, let's go back and do 2. I think I like the look of 2. I don't know that doing the 3 really gained us anything. So anyhow, we're going to do 1 here. Now we're going to do the 2 together. So basically, this is what's considered a decrease. So I'm going to go into this first stitch under both loops, and I'm going to grab up a loop. Now I'm not going to finish. I'm just going to hold that. Then I'm going to move to the second stitch here. Again, go under both bars, grab up a loop, and again, do not finish. So we have our starting loop. Then we have our 2 single crochets unfinished, total of 3 loops up on top. We're going to yarn over and pull through all 3. We're going to squish those together. That is technically called a decrease, and this is 2 single crochets together. Now I'm going to continue up the side here, working on the strap. And again, I'm going to go under both bars of each stitch, and I'm just doing a single crochet. So we're just bringing this pink little accent row in. And you can see now that I've gotten through that initial purple where we had to go in the back bump, these stitches are a lot easier. So again, I'm not doing anything super fancy here. I am going under both loops. Now, if you are new to crochet, you will hear these loops referred to as the front loop and the back loop. So you can see here there's 2 bars. It kind of looks like a sideways V. You can kind of see it there if I spread them apart. The one that faces you is the front loop. The one that's away from you is the back loop. So we're going to go under both of these. Sometimes you will have patterns that call for front loop only or back loop only. In that case, you would go under just one or the other. And those are written as FLO, front loop only, or BLO, back loop only. That's how I have seen them written, but that's basically what they mean on a pattern when you're looking at that. So anyhow, Maggie says she's going to be on tonight. So again, Maggie does a lot of really cool stuff, guys, on her TikTok. So if you're here and you're not following Maggie, click on her name and give her a follow. You won't be disappointed. I'm never disappointed. I really enjoy her lives and all of the things that she makes. I love her little scarves, and she has. I have a yarn holder like hers, but one of the magical things she does is she has that little swinging yarn holder in front of her. It's downright mesmerizing, I'll tell you. Um, let's see, the His Biz strap is interesting too. Oh, okay. I've never heard of that one, Susan. I'll have to look for that. Um, I did some different straps for Mama Wheeler's bags, and they didn't take as much time. They're like a variation of the simple oh gosh, what is it called? The simple Tunisian. These handles are certainly more time consuming, but I do like the look of them, and so um, I don't know. Sometimes it's worth it, I guess. But I know Mama Wheeler's straps on her bags that I did. I was able to do those a lot faster, just because of it was a different stitch. My light keeps moving on me. I have my light coming over the back of my couch, and all of a sudden I have my hands in the shadows. I can't see. Yes, I'm working on a market bag today. We've worked on this market bag a number of days on the live, and it's been kind of a fun project. It's been kind of a community project. So basically, you can kind of see it here if I spread it out. It's upside down right now. This is the top part, the where you put your stuff in, and this is the bottom part here. And we made these on the live on. I guess it was Wednesday, and then on Thursday we crochet joined them. And then yesterday we worked on the straps, and we're back finishing the straps today. So basically I'm going to do this row of pink, then I'm going to do the row of blue, and then eventually I'll have that last row of white. So I'm just kind of going around and around and around. If you get bored with these colors, which I tend to do, I'll tell you what I do to keep this fresh and easy. I put a little pin there. And then what I will do is I will go back and I'll work all three colors kind of along simultaneously. So let's add on our blue just because we can. Now with the blue, I'm going to kind of skip a few stitches because I'm going to have to join here. So we'll leave ourselves some space. But I do a little slip stitch on my hook and then I start with a single crochet. And now we're just going to do a single crochet of the blue as we go along here, adding that to our project. And so I'll do a little bit of the pink, then I'll do a little bit of the blue, and then I will do the white. So here we are back to the corner of our market bag again. This is where the square here, this is our granny square. And here's where our little strap is. And this becomes kind of a little corner point here. So you can see on the row below, I did a two together double single crochet. Now I'm going to apply that same here. This will help prevent it from getting too bulky here in the corners. So I'm going to go under both loops and I'm going to draw up a loop and I'm just going to hold that. I'm not going to finish. Then I'm going to move to the second stitch here, again under both bars, grab up a loop, and again, I don't finish. So we have our starting loop, then we have our two single crochets unfinished, a total of 3 loops on our hook. Now I'm going to yarn over, I'm going to pull this yarn under all 3. So you want those to squish together. Then I'm going to carry on here with the blue up the side, just resuming with our single crochets. What this does is it allows this corner not to have so much bulkiness in it with having single stitches. So let's go back and look at this. Let me pop a little stitch marker in here. So you can see now when we do this two together, it helps keep this nice and tight here to the corner and kind of in a like V shape, if you will. And so that's the way that I like to do those corners. Now the last color that I'm going to do, which will finish off this strap, is the white. So let's go ahead and join our white. And if you don't feel comfortable working all the colors at once, you don't have to. This is how I like to do it just because it helps keep it fresh. So I joined with a slip stitch and then I did a single crochet in the first stitch. Again, going under both bars, I'm just doing a single crochet, working here to the corner. And again, once I get to this corner, again, we're going to do our two together single crochet. So you can kind of turn your strap here. You can kind of see, we might need to do 3. See how this is kind of bending in? So let's try it with 3 and see how it looks. So under the first stitch here, I go under both bars, grab up a loop, hold, do not finish. Now go under the next stitch here, again under both bars, grab up a loop, again holding. And then here's the third stitch under both bars, grab up a loop, again holding. So we have our starting loop, 3 unfinished single crochets. I'm going to yarn over and go under all of those stitches, squishing those together. And now I'm going to continue working up this side, doing a single crochet into each stitch along. And we just kind of are bringing all these colors along at the same time, just doing little sections, and we'll kind of see how this looks. Oh gosh, 17 new messages. Let me catch up on the messages here. But here is now how that strap is finishing out. So you can see we have all of the colors. So we'll do a little bit more here, but then what I have to decide is if I want to put a white stitch here in between. I don't know if I'm feeling the white stripe on the bag itself. So anyhow, let me catch up here one second, guys. Hey, Sparky, good morning. Hey, Brianne, how are you? Uh, yeah, I get bored doing one color all at the same. I just I kind of work them all at the same time. I do this a lot whenever I can. It's more interesting to me, and I don't know. I don't know if it's more interesting to you guys, but it's more interesting to me. So I'll just kind of do some little sections of them as we go along, and kind of it just helps me uh, I don't know, maybe not to get so bored, I guess. So again, I'm just working a single crochet up the side of the strap. You can't always do this, right? Because you're not always working with a lot of different colors. But when I am, and it's something like this, I think it's fun to kind of do this in little sections rather than do the whole loop all the way around, right? I just kind of bring it along like this, and like if I'm sitting here on the couch, I don't even put a stitch marker. I just kind of leave a big loop, if I'm crocheting by myself. And um, then I continue on here. We'll continue on with the white and bring it along. And then eventually we'll get all the way around and we'll have the full strap done. And I don't know, it's more entertaining for me to do that, I guess. I did that a lot on the mosaic blanket that I put in the county fair, because that one had a lot of edging. It was a big blanket, and I did edging like this on it. Well, I did alternating front post and back post double crochets, but I did it with, what did I have on that, guys, like 5 different colors? It was a lot of different colors. I did it all with I had like harvest red and gold and like autumn maize. It was all Karen Simply Soft. A lot of you guys remember that blanket, but I basically applied the same concept to that as I'm doing right now. So I'd work one color a little bit and bring it along, and then I'd come back and work the other color. And anyhow, it's just really fun. It helps keep my mind like occupied, I guess. Whatever you got to do when you're doing long stretches like this. So, what is everybody working on? What are your projects that you've got going? Do tell, do tell. We're all excited. I've seen a lot of different projects popping up over on the Discord. If you guys want to get on the chat server, if you don't know what a Discord is, it's basically like an online chat room, and it allows us to share pictures and videos, and you can share links. So basically it's a fun way just to correspond with each other. One of the challenges with TikTok is you can't DM pictures, right? And with crochet, a lot of times we have questions on projects or we need assistance. So there is a link for that on the link tree if you're interested in getting on the Discord. But it's a fun little place just to communicate back and forth. You can share other stuff on there too. Oh my gosh, this morning, you guys, I was totally tearing up. I I'm on this Kristen Hanna kick. You guys know who Kristen Hanna is, the author. I started out and I read The Women, and oh, Deborah said she's making a cloak for her daughter. That's a fun project. Wait, let me see what everybody is working on here. Hold that thought. I'll go back to Kristen Hanna. Remind me. Hey, CJ. Good morning. Lucky Mike says, "I love the effect it gives on the straps." Yeah, look where we're at. Isn't that fun? It's kind of fun, right? Maybe I'm a dork. Yes. Thank you, Anvil. All of my social media is Wheeler 8 Acres. Uh, NK said, working on a granny square sweater. Sparky says she's redoing her temperature blanket. I'm adding more colors. Oh, is that the granny square one that you're working on, Mark? Sparky? I really like those colors that you had. Cindy said we're making some rectangle shawls and wraps. That's a fun project. It's still nice and chilly. Maggie's working on scarves and a community blanket. Ray is working on a daisy square sweater. I love anything spring related. I'm so ready for spring. Aren't you, Ray? I know that's probably why you're doing it, because we're all like, bring on spring. We're ready. Dakota is working on a granny square baby blanket, one giant square. Ooh, nice. Let's see. Uh, That's why I like black bags. Yeah, I want to make a black blanket. I have some hot pink and black yarn, but black is so hard to show on the live. It really doesn't show. So I don't know if I can do it. We'll see. Let's see. Lucky Mike says I have 3 work in progress. I'm making a baby blanket using the moss stitch. I've tried the moss stitch, and it just seems like it goes on and on forever. Does it take you a long time to do the moss stitch, or was that just me? Maybe I was doing it wrong. Um, Anvil says, I hope everyone posts pics on Discord. So many interesting work in progress. Yeah, for sure. Um, I'm making a heart granny square cardigan, putting it together today for Valentine's. Oh, that is really cool. Thank you. That's really fun. I like all the heart stuff. I saw Caroline. I don't know if Caroline's here this morning. I saw over on Book of Faces, she's doing a heart blanket too. Um, Connecting panels with a mattress stitch, Lucky Mike said. I am doing the mattress stitch for the first time. We're going to do that later this week. A lot of people have asked me about the mattress stitch, so I did it and I'm learning. Um, Sparky said working on a granny square blanket. Let's see. Queen 530 is making a baby Afghan. Wow, you guys are flying these comments up. Sorry. Shauna's making Super Bowl scarves. I saw your post, Shauna. Too cute, too cute. Shauna's an Eagles fan, of course. They won the Super Bowl, so she made a winning scarf, which is really cool. What machine are you using for those, Shauna? Do you have an Addy machine? What are you using? I'm curious. Um, let's see. Tammy says, working on a junk journal. Oh, my mom makes junk journals. I don't think Mama Wheeler is on this morning, but that's one of her little specialties she likes to do is the junk journal. For the moss stitch, I increased the hook size to make it drop more. Oh, interesting, interesting. Yeah, I've not been very successful with the moss stitch, but maybe it's just me. Urban said, good morning. I'm making a chevron eagle themed baby blanket. Oh, that's cute. Gen X Girl is working on a purple V stitch shawl. So many fun projects. Melanie is doing a Grafgan. Guys, thank you all so much for all of the hearts that are flying up the screen this morning over on TikTok. I see 9.1 thousand likes. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And I see the thumbs up over there on YouTube. Deborah says, my hubby is a diehard Eagles fan. So, my team, my dad was born and raised in Green Bay, Wisconsin. I know I've talked about this before. So even though we lived in Arizona growing up, he was a Packers fan when the Packers were really, really good. They used to storm the field and just really serious fans. And back then, when they were winning all those games and stuff. He had different friends, and I'm sure my dad passed this year in December, but he would tell us the stories. He had one friend. His name was Butch Stolf, and I'm sure Butch Stolf is not alive anymore either. I never had the pleasure of meeting the man, but he said, "Boy, that guy was a wild. He was a wild guy." He said they would storm the field. These guys after the Packers won, and one year they broke down the goalpost, and he said old Butchie, he said he had a part of that goalpost in his man cave. Back then it was just the garage, but it was like what they call today a man cave. But that's when things were really boy, they would get out of hand, and so that's when my dad was kind of in his younger years, right, early 20s, where you kind of don't take things too serious, storming the field. Hey Sarah, good morning. So anyhow, yeah, it's now my husband, he's not too big of a football fan. He's an off-road car kind of guy. So I know you guys are going to be shocked by this, but we didn't watch the Super Bowl. I sat right here in my chair and crocheted, and hubby was out in the garage, or he has a big shop, and he was working on his cars and stuff. So right now he's got a big truck that he's working on. But Anvil, I was going to tell you, he bought that little S10 pickup that had the small block in it, and this past Sunday he traded it off. One thing I've learned with my husband: don't get too attached to any vehicle. Any vehicle that he brings home, do not get attached to it, because just like that, you'll look up one day and that car will be gone, that truck will be gone, that Jeep will be gone. So he traded it straight across over to a guy down in Tennessee, or up in Tennessee. I guess they're north of us. And he traded that little pickup for a CJ5 Jeep, and it's actually a pretty cool Jeep. It's definitely an off-road. It's got a roll cage and everything in it. Definitely needs some work, but he just said, I'm going to get myself into trouble with that little pickup. Which, as I look at the black tire marks down our driveway, it was probably a smart move. My husband, he's a truck driver for a living, so he can't afford to, get points on his license or potentially lose his license for, bad driving. That would not be a real smart thing on his part. So it was probably the best decision, but yeah. So basically, of course, Anvil, I looked at it the other day, and the tires are flat on it. It's parked there next to my little Jeep. I have a Jeep as well, guys. I have a 2018 or 2016 Wrangler, and I really like my Jeep. It's a pretty blue color, and so it's kind of cute because we've got his all, off road busted up one. And then we've got mine sitting there under the carport. So it's kind of fun, it's just the thing that we like to do. Obviously, Wheeler 8 Acres, this is where the whole Wheeler part comes in, right? For those that are wondering. Okay, so we're getting back here to the corner. So let's turn our work here. You can see here, as we were doing these colors, working them across, when we got right here to the pink, what we did is we did a 2 together single crochet. That allows this to not be so bulky as you make this turn to come up onto your strap. So we need to apply the same thing here as we're working down into our corner. We want to make sure and get this so that it kind of squishes up a little bit. So I'm going to put one more stitch right here in the last stitch of the strap. Now this is a 2 together single crochet. So you can see right here the first stitch, I'm going to go under both bars with my hook, and I'm going to draw up a loop. Now I'm not going to finish that, okay? I'm just going to hold it. Then I'm going to move to the second stitch here and again draw up a loop. So now you can see we have our starting loop here. We have 2 unfinished single crochets. Now what I'm going to do is yarn over, and I'm going to pull through all 3. So we want those to squish together. Then I can resume working my way down here into this little valley. Now, when we get down here to this point as well, we also need to do, this will be a 3 together to do this little V here. So you can kind of see how those 2 together look. And it just helps keep it so not so bulky here in the corner as we're doing this. So now again, under both bars, I'm resuming now, and we're just doing our single crochets the whole way down as we get to this valley. And when you do double or single crochets together, or even um, half doubles, I've seen lots of different stitches done where you do multiples together. That is called a decrease. So basically, as we get down here into this valley, you'll see here in just a second, I need one more stitch. Okay. So here we are into this valley. So you can kind of see it's pointed like a V here. And we have one stitch here, one stitch here, and one stitch here. What we're going to do is we're going to start a single crochet in each one of these and do a 3 together single crochet. So basically this is called a decrease. We're going to take these 3 stitches, squish them down, and we're going to form one stitch. So I'm going to go under both bars of the first stitch, draw up a loop. Now I'm just going to hold here. Then I'm going to go into the second stitch here, and I'm going to again go under both bars, grab up a loop, and again I'm just going to hold that. Now I'm going to go under the third stitch here and draw up a loop, and again holding. So now we have our starting loop. We have 3 unfinished single crochets. Now I'm going to yarn over, and I'm going to go under all 4 of those. Squish those together. Okay, now here is our first stitch where we started. I'm going to join with a slip stitch right into this first stitch and snip off my pink. We're going to be done with our pink. And then I'll flatten this out and you guys can kind of see how it turned out. Okay, so tighten this tail down. And I'm going to come back. I will have to weave in all these tails. I'll weave them down kind of into the body of the bag here. This will have a liner, so you're not going to see any of that. But let's flatten this back out. I've got lots of strings going on here. Okay, so here is our strap where we're at so far. And here is the little V part of it. Can you see that? So this is the very center of our bag here. This is the middle of the bag. And you can see how that kind of came together. You can see the three together here. See how that squished up nice, so it's not real bulky here. If we had done 3 individual stitches, that would have made it kind of wavy and bow out. So that's why you do your decreases. Okay, so now let us, Gen X, thank you so much for the gifts this morning. I appreciate that. So now I'm going to resume with my turquoise blue here. This is the colorway Turqua, and this is Red Heart Super Saver. The pink is Pretty in Pink, and the purple here is Big Twist Value in the colorway Lilac. So now I'm going to do a single crochet again under both bars. To make a slip stitch, do you do 3 stitches? Do you mean when I tie off, Mary? I'm not sure. I think that's what you mean when I tie off. I like to tie off with 2 slip stitches. I do my slip stitch into the stitch, and then I do like a 2 chains, and then I pull that tight. With the 2, I just find it keeps it a little tighter. We're going to do another one here in just a second, so we can talk about that a little more. Thank you so much for the follow this morning over on TikTok. Welcome, welcome. We're going to do this corner here, and then I'll do a little introduction for those that are just joining on, and we can get familiar with each other. So again, here we are in the corner. You can see this is where I did my 2 together. So again, I'm going to do this one and this one together. You could do 3 together here if you prefer. On the other side here, we did only 2. So I think, or did I do 3? Let's look and see if I did it. No, I think I did only 2. Okay, so I'm going to do another stitch here. So now I'm going to do 2 single crochets together. So here's what this means. We're going to take these 2 stitches and we're going to do a decrease. We're going to put them together and form 1 stitch. Sounds complicated. It's really not. So I'm going to take my hook and go under both bars and grab up a loop. I'm not going to finish that single crochet. Normally you would yarn over here. We're not going to do that. Then I'm going to put my hook under the next stitch under both bars and grab up a loop. Okay, so now we have our starting loop. We have 2 unfinished single crochets. Uh, let's see, you did 3 on the other side, changed it to 2 this morning. Again, I sometimes don't even know what I'm doing. I'm going to yarn over and pull through all 3. So, yeah, I think I did 3 here. Let's do 3. So that is a 2 together single crochet. We're going to do 3, okay? Anvil says I did 3. Anvil knows what I'm doing more than I do half the time. Thank goodness for these mods here, right? Anvil says she wrote it down yesterday. There you go. Me, I'm over here winging it, and Anvil's taking notes. So what that means is we're going to, instead of just doing these 2, we're going to do all 3 of these. Okay, so into the first stitch here, we're going to start a single crochet under both bars, grab up a loop, holding, do not finish. Then we're going to go under the next stitch, again, grab up a loop, again, holding, do not finish. Go under the third stitch, grab up a loop, again, do not finish. Here we have our starting loop, 3 unfinished double crochets, total of 4 loops up on top. Yarn over, and now we're going to pull through all 4 of those loops. So you can see they squish together. Then I'm going to resume with my single crochets here as we head down into this valley. When we get to the valley, we're going to do a 3 together decrease again. So what this does, if we look at this, when you do these 3 together, it helps it stay not so bulky in here, and it helps follow this shape so that you have your straps basically going up the side of the bag. If you have just 3 stitches here that aren't together, this will create added bulk here in this corner, and you're not going to like how that looks when you get the bag finished. So again, you can see right here, we did the pink 3 together. Same thing we're going to do here. So I'm going to work single crochets all the way down. Again, under both bars, nothing too fancy here. And I'm just doing single crochets as we work our way down. So almost there. Let's see, I think I've got like one more stitch to do here. So you can see this one right here, this one here, and this one here is the ones that I'm going to put together. Okay, so basically you can kind of turn on the side here and see the bars. I'm going to go under the first one, draw up a loop, holding. Then I'm going to go under the second one here, again, draw up a loop, holding, do not finish. Go into the third stitch here, again, draw up a loop and do not finish. So now we have our starting loop, 3 unfinished single crochets, and now we're going to yarn over and pull through all 4 of those loops. Now I need to join here where we started with this blue yarn here. I have one more stitch to put in here. And then I'm going to join with a slip stitch. So the way that I do this, I go into the first stitch here under both bars and I draw up a loop. Now, instead of yarning over like that, I don't do that. I just take this loop right here and I put it under this one. This is called a slip stitch. Then I chain 2. This is how I finish mine. I used to chain 1 here and it wouldn't stay put. It sometimes, depending on how slippery the yarn was, it would sometimes like to unravel there. So now I do 2 and I just pull this down. I use my thumbnail and kind of cinch that down tight, and that becomes how I tie off. Then I'll come back later and I'll weave in this end. So there you can see our 3 together single crochets. That's what helps form this little V and keep this nice and uniform. Okay. So now we have one last color to bring around. That is the white. You can see we're working with all of the colors here. And anyhow, it is just kind of fun to do this. So let's see here. Let me catch up here real quick on the comments, guys. I get a little behind on this. So let me just say welcome to the new followers. Thank you so much for joining our little crowd this morning. We have a fabulous group. It's not just about me, but for those that don't know who I am, my name is April, and I come on live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday mornings at 7 Central Time. I am a hobby crocheter. Anvil says somebody has to watch you when you're being a rebel. That is absolutely true. Anvil keeps me on a short leash over here, which is good. I need that. I get a little off tangent sometimes. So, anyhow, Glamourcy or Glamma acrylics. Oh, or glam acrylics. Is that acrylic like nails? I like your little handle. That's cute. Hopefully, I answer your questions. You said new here. Can you show what you mean? Let me know if I didn't answer your question because I am going to do another color here and we're going to talk about that. Let's see. Oh, Glam said, oh, wow. Okay, cool. So I think that answered the question. How do you keep your ends in? So basically, I come back and I weave in these tails. So you can see here, here's one that I wove in. I went from this top right here and I tucked it here, and I will sometimes wrap around and go back and forth. This whole bag is going to get a liner, so you're not going to see these tails, but I will snip them off. And basically, you can see I have a lot here to weave in. But this one, I already kind of brought it down from the top here. You can see I still have more to weave in. I'll kind of weave this back up and down again. So I like to do it about 3 times under stitches, and I try to split the fiber. So basically, when I weave these in, I don't go under this whole stitch right here. I try to go in between like this. And when you split those fibers, so basically what we mean by the fibers, these stitches, this yarn is swirled together, right? It's twisted, but you can see there's 4 strands. So rather than put my needle under all 4 strands, I try to divide those up. That way, when I go through, this little twisting action on the yarn will help to kind of grab onto that and help it so it doesn't come undone. And I go through usually about 3 times. Meme says, did I ever finish my story about the book? No. So remind me. I'm a little off tangent this morning. Let's see. My ends always come out on my thinner plushies. Try, like I said, try splitting the fibers, but plushie yarn, it doesn't really have fibers in the same way. If anybody else knows a trick about doing the fibers or how to weave in ends for a plushie, but a lot of times if you're doing a plushie, you can just tuck it on the inside of the body of the item that you're making too. Just take your needle and put it through, and then kind of bury it in there, and that will help secure it as well. So, okay, before I get too more off track here, um, welcome to the new followers. My name is April, and I'm a hobby crocheter. I come on live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday mornings at 7 Central Time, and I usually go till about 8:30. And at that time, I hop off. I do have a full time job that keeps me rather busy, and I have to be at work at 9. I do work remote. I live in Alabama and I work in Arizona, but we have a fabulous group here. I do a lot of different stuff. I do market bags, I do baby blankets, I do full size lap blankets. Sometimes I'll do some amigurumis. I do a variety of stuff, scrubbies. You name it, I kind of do it here on the live. And every day I try to do something a little different. I always have a schedule that's made out. You can look ahead on TikTok. And for those that don't know, I'm also live streaming this morning over on YouTube. So I do my very, very best to keep up with all of the comments, but it is a lot for me. So if I miss your comment, please, please do not take it personal. Just feel free to ask again. If I, at the end of the live, I go back and I reread all of the comments. If I miss something, I will DM you and, try to provide an answer. So I really do my very best. We have fabulous mods here. Anvil and Gen X are here with me every day. They help keep me on track, keep me focused, and help to pin the comments and questions as well. So thank you. Shout out to our mods as well, guys. Really appreciate it. I couldn't do this without you, and I couldn't do it without each of you that come every day. Right? It's kind of a cool thing. So I'm going to now work my way here into the corner, and again, we did our three single crochets together here. You can see them. So same thing here. I'm going to do 1, 2, 3 single crochets together as we do this little V of our handbag. So I go under the first stitch here and I grab up a loop. Then I do not finish this stitch. I move to the next stitch here and I go under both bars again, grab up another loop. Now I don't finish that single crochet, just hold it. Then I go into the third stitch here, again, grab up a loop, do not finish. So we have our starting loop, then we have our 3 unfinished single crochets, and then we yarn over and I pull through all 4 of those stitches. So that allows them to squish together. And then I'm going to continue on here with my single crochets. Let me get a little away from this corner. We'll sit back and look at it. Deborah on TikTok said, clapping hands to the TikTok mods. I have not figured out how to do a moderator over on YouTube. I'm fairly new to YouTube, but we do have a number of friends that come every day over there, and I appreciate each of you guys as well. So don't feel left out over there on YouTube, please, please. I do value you as well. I try to keep up with the comments. So you can see here, this is our strap now. Here's our little corner. So we did our 3 together and that allowed those to squish together. This is also called a decrease. Had we done 3 individual stitches, this would make this corner area right here super, super bulky. And so that's why we do a 3 together. But when you do 3 stitches and you put them down into one in crochet, that is called a decrease. And we're going to do that decrease again here as I work my way down into this little valley here. This is the very center part of our granny square bag. So you can see this dips down here in the middle as well. And we're also going to do a 3 together single crochet right here. So I have a couple more stitches. So I'm going to do one more here. And then you can see 3 stitches here, 1, 2, 3. So again, I'm going to put these together. So go under the first stitch, under both bars, grab up a loop, holding, do not finish. Move to the next stitch, under both bars, grab up a loop, again holding, do not finish, and then into the third stitch here under both bars, grab up that loop. Now we have our starting loop here, 3 unfinished single crochets. Now we're going to yarn over, and I'm going to go through all 4 of these, squish those together, and that is your decrease. Now I'm going to go here into our last of our blue stitches, working my way over here to the white where we started, and I'm going to join here again with a slip stitch. So under those 2 bars, drop a loop. If you don't know how to do a slip stitch, if you're new, you take this loop here and you just take your hook and slide it under this one. And then I like to do a chain of 2, and then I snip off. April was stuck on granny squares for 39 years. Absolutely. I think it was more like 38. I've been branching out for the last few 2-3 years. Um, so anyhow, you can see there where I finished the little down part. Now I'll have to come back and weave in this end. Now the other thing you guys could do, let me show you a different way to join this if you don't want this big knot here. Let me pull this out. It might take me a second. While I'm pulling this knot out, the book that made me cry this morning, I'm only about halfway through it, but I'm on this Kristen Hanna kick. First I watched the women, or I listened to the women, which is a really good book that is set in the Vietnam era. Then I watch or listen to uh the one that's World War II. I can't think of the name. I'm totally drawing a blank. You guys probably know which one it is. On Discord I have it listed out. And then I listened to the one I just finished was the Dust Bowl one. And again, I can't even think of what the name of that one was. But the one I'm listening to right now is, it's called Night Road. Have you guys or read Night Road? Anyhow, it's, I just was crying already this morning. I don't know what to say. And it's only halfway through the book. Okay. So anyhow, it's called Night Road. Oh gosh, do I have a time check? Oh, 8:05. Okay, okay. Um I don't think they have mods on YouTube. I haven't figured out how to do mods on YouTube. I think you have to get your channel to a certain point, because I was watching Creative Grandma yesterday and she said there's a gal who runs her Facebook channel, and she said thank you for being here to help, moderate. So um but really, a lot of you guys help to answer questions too. A lot of people, and same thing over on YouTube. My friends here are not bashful, so sometimes they'll help answer comments, and I welcome that. It's totally cool. This is not just about me. If you guys didn't show up and watch me every day, I wouldn't be here. There wouldn't be any point. So, okay. So instead of tying off with a knot here, if you want to do a seamless join and make it look pretty, okay, because this is on the very edge of your blanket, I'm going to take my yarn with my darning needle. Let's get this little guy on here. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around this stitch here, like so. Then I'm going to go back down in the middle here, and I like to grab that other little stitch there, okay? And then I'm going to pull this down, and I'm going to bring this stitch in line with the rest of these. This is called a seamless join, if you guys have not seen this before. So it makes all of your stitches look marvelous. No knots. And then you have your needle here, and you can, knot it up down here somewhere or weave this in. But that is called a seamless join. What do you guys think? Is this new for somebody? Do you want to see this again? I could do it again. Oh my goodness, 23 new messages. You guys must like it, because I'm getting a lot of messages here. Let's see here. Oh, Nightingale. Yes, I watched the Nightingale, or I say watch. I listen to it. So, guys, as I'm crocheting, I have audiobooks, and I listen to these books on tape. Right? I listen to Audible. And so yeah, I did the Nightingale, and then the other one. I can't remember. That one was a tearjerker too. All her books are tear jerkers. Dust Bowl, yes, nay, thank you. Dust Bowl was really good. Honestly, of all, I have not found less than 5 stars of Kristen Hanna. She is phenomenal. She just is amazing. I really, really, really enjoy hers. So everybody's saying, do it again. Let's see. I'm going to do it again. Just one second. Susan says I'm on chapter 8 of Nightingale. Nightingale is a really good book. That book, Night Road, is $40.99. I think I'm going to wait until that comes out a little bit. Wow, that is expensive. Um, I, I, yeah, I don't. They're not that much on Audible. I pay for a monthly thing where I get like 2 free books. So let me take this back out. Okay, let me. I got to get back here to where we were before, where I can get my hook. I'm going to show you guys how I do this from the beginning. I got to unwind this here because it gets a little weird. Okay, we're gonna do this invisible join again. I do this invisible join a lot when it matters, like on edges of blankets and this kind of stuff. Okay, so here I am. I have one more stitch to do. So I'm going to do my stitch. Here's my single crochet. Okay, I snip off my yarn. I pull this loop all the way out. Okay, so you can see the yarn is coming through the middle of this stitch right here. Then I take my darning needle and I get this dude onto my yarn. So this is for those that don't know, this is a blunt tip needle. Okay. And it's not pointed. It's kind of pointed, but it's rounded, right? So it doesn't, I get my yarn on my needle here. Okay. Then I'm going to go, this is our stitch over here that we're going to join to. So I'm going to go under both the loops. Okay. I pull my yarn through. Then what I do is I'm going to go through the middle. See how the stitch came up through the middle? I'm going to go back down through the middle under that first one. And then I grab this second one that you can see chilling down here. And I go under him too. And I bring this down. And I kind of cinch this up. And sometimes it gets a little too tight. You have to kind of take your needle and adjust this. But this is called an invisible join. So now it looks identical. And there's no knot there. Okay. So then what I can do is I can take this tail and I can weave it down into this bag and hide it. You could, if you feel like it's going to come undone, you could, knot it up down here if you want, where it's not going to be seen. But that is your invisible join. So what that does is it leaves a nice, smooth, finished edge on your bag. So you can see here, it's really nice and pretty. Okay, so here is our little strap that we did. Here's the bag. Let me flatten this out and get this. It's been kind of it's gotten curled up because I've been, kind of pushing it into my lap this morning as we've been doing it. So here is our little unicorn bag. And I think there's our strap. So now what I have to decide, I don't know if I am going to do it. I was brainstorming. I made a little swatch when I first started this. And I thought, would it look cool if I put a little white kind of stripe here in the middle? But as I'm looking at this, I don't know that I'm going to do the white stripe. I don't think it needs it. And I think it would make it look kind of weird if I joined it right down here. Like at some point, that white has to end somewhere, right? It has to go somewhere. Like, where do you hide that? Where does it stop? I don't think I like it. I think this is good, just like this. So I think that's where I'm going to kind of end that. So this is one half. Now here's the other half, right? We still have to do this whole side here. And I'm going to do this offline. I don't know where we're at on time this morning, but I'll probably come back and I'll work on this offline and kind of do that. Um, Deborah says, I agree, April. I don't think it needs the white. Yeah, I'm not feeling the white. I kind of was liking it when I did my little test, right? Guys, it's great to do tests like this. If you're, brainstorming, how are my colors going to work together? Just do a little test swatch, right? That's what I like to do. But I don't think it looks, I think it's good just the way it is. I think I'm going to leave it. Let's see. Do you have any advice on how to get rid of a huge knot in your yarn? So I have a stitch picker outer, which is this little guy here. It's if you don't have one of these, you could use just your little needle. It just kind of takes a lot of patience, but sometimes, depending on how bad the knot is and how expensive the yarn is, if I don't if I don't think I'm going to need all that yarn for the project, I will be honest, I sometimes just snip it out and move on. Sometimes it's not worth the headache. If you do really need the yarn, it just takes practice to, or not practice, patience to work on it and get that, worked out. It's really hard to do that. Let's see. Even if it's basically the whole yarn that's knotted. Oh, wow. Was it an expensive yarn? No. Hopefully you can just be patient with it and it'll work out. Lucky Mike says, I love this bag. I need to make one. So my little niece is going to be 4 this year. And I might wait a couple years, but this could just kind of hang out here with me. And then when I think she's the right age, I can give it to her. Like I don't want it to be too big. But this is not a very big market bag, guys. It's really not huge, right? So I wanted it to be kind of smaller because I made it with like a kid in mind, right? So it's 12 inches is how big it is. So even if she, uses it for like dress up or something, I remember dressing up with Mama Wheeler's, heels and dresses and traipsing around the house and all that. I don't know if she does all of that because she's more on her little personal tablet and that kind of stuff. Kids today are a little different, but um, yes, 4 wins, 4 wins. Susan, that's the one. 4 Winds was really good. It's based on the Dust Bowl and the Great Depression, and that book, 4 Winds, it really hit home. My grandpa and grandma were both Depression kids, and I used to hear stories of them, and a lot of the terms that are used in that book. I don't want to say I'm on the live, but my grandpa's nickname was one of those terms. My grandpa was from Arkansas. My grandma's family was from Kentucky, and they both ended up relocating to Arizona. And I don't know if it was exactly during when the depression was happening, but a lot of people migrated during that time from some of these areas over to California and Arizona, and just for a fresh start. There was all of the FDR stuff was happening at that time with all of the work programs and everything, and so a lot of people relocated. But it was a very heartfelt book. I really enjoyed 4 Winds. It was really quite it was good. The family was based in Texas, and basically at that time the Dust Bowl was happening, and what the Dust Bowl was basically related to farming. So all of these farms, with all of the winds with the crops, they couldn't grow. There was a drought going on. The Great Depression was going on. It was just a whole era in our history, and that's one of the things I really like about Kristen Hanna is she helps. I wasn't a very good student with history, right? It was like in one ear, out the other, and study enough for the test, ace the test, and then kind of do a memory dump on it. So when I can listen to an audiobook and think about these things in history that happened, it helps me get smarter. So anyhow, that's meme says that bag came out beautifully, April. Can't you guys see this with the unicorn liner? I'm gonna put unicorn fabric in here. Rainbow unicorns. I think it's gonna be super super cute. Of course, I've got to weave in all these tails and stuff. I'll do that over time and do the liner. So anyhow, yeah, but 4 Winds. The book that I am doing or reading right now today that was making me tear up this morning was Night Road. Night Road, and it's based up in the Seattle area. So anyhow, I don't want to give too much away, but it's a really really good book. Um, Susan says, April, please always talk about your current audiobooks. I know I did that and I talked about one and then I said a trigger word and then I got flagged on TikTok. I have to be careful what I was saying. So yeah, and I have a book list also on the Discord. I made a channel specifically for books. So if you guys are reading books, if you want to share about books, there's a whole channel on the Discord. You guys can put your information in there. But this, I think, is my 6th book. this year so far. I started another one over the weekend and I didn't finish it. So if I don't finish it, I put it right on my list also. This is my first year kind of keeping track, but I'm kind of excited about it. So anyhow, thank you guys. Thank you guys so much. So on deck for tomorrow, I don't have the yarn, I don't have the pattern, but there's links on the link tree. I'm probably going to cut out a little bit early today, guys. I wasn't feeling too good yesterday, and so I need to get in there to work and kind of get caught up on some emails and stuff. But tomorrow, I'm going to be making a Valentine's scarf. And I'm going to do a bonus day over on TikTok. I'm going to go live on TikTok on Friday as well, assuming everything goes good tomorrow. So it's a pattern I've never made before. It is by Hooked by Robin. There's links on the link tree. There's also links to the yarn that I'm doing. Gosh, I'm really tickled with how these straps turned out. I think they're really cute. I'm kind of geeked out right now. Sorry. So anyhow, yes, same time on Friday, Queen. I'm thinking about 7. I did make a TikTok event for both tomorrow and on Friday. If depending on how it goes tomorrow, if y'all are interested in what I'm doing tomorrow, then there's no point for Friday. But I think everybody will be kind of interested. It seems like a really fun pattern. So the bonus day will not be for YouTube on Friday. I didn't make an event. But you will be able to see me on TikTok on Friday. Same time, same place, 7 Central Time. So thank you guys all for being here today. Again, shout out to our moderators. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for being here. And I will see you all tomorrow. Have a fabulous day. Bye for now.